yeah. Oh, yeah. Welcome, one and all, to the greatest show on ice. The Nerd Avengers. You gotta say it like that. Bless you. Bless you. Man, what a week. Hope you guys are doing well. What up? A lot to talk about today on this nice Friday stream, man. It feels good closing out the week. I feel good. I hope you guys are feeling good as well. Oh, and yes, of course. How could I forget? I legitimately actually kind of forgot. We gotta do the gambling. Let me get this set up for you guys. Get some gambling action. How could I forget, you know? Just a lot going on, I guess. All right. All right, here we go. Boom. Gambling. And you know what? Just for everybody that's in here real early, let's go 3,000 nerd coin for everybody, you know? Bam. You know what? Let's do it again. Let's just do it again. One real quick. Bam. There you go. Boom, boom. Should be good to go. Let me know. Make sure that is going well. Make sure that's going well. Woo! Okay, now everybody's rolling. Everybody's gambling. I went gambling last week, actually. Liam's birthday. We had a bunch of family in town, and me and a couple of my cousins went up to the casino and didn't have the best day. Elisa's like my good luck charm. You know what I mean when it comes to gambling. I've had a very good track record with her win gambling. So, oh, you won a grand playing blackjack on Sunday? That's sick, dude. That's sick. Okay, so as far as today, guys, look, couple of different things I want to talk about. First of all, show notes for everybody. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I'm actually leaving in a couple of hours. I'm going down to Pittsburgh. A buddy of mine's having a birthday, and well, we just want to play Warhammer all weekend, basically. So we're gonna be playing a bunch of Warhammer today and tomorrow. I'll be back kind of like Sunday-ish. Sometime Sunday I'll be back, and I will be doing, and I know this is crazy, like, what a world, but I will be doing a Prime stream on Sunday. I'm not exactly sure when. It's going to depend on how crazy Saturday gets, what time I get back on Sunday, but I will let you guys know. I tried to get rid of the Prime streams. YouTube wouldn't let me get rid of the Prime streams. So for now, we're bringing them back, and we're going to do them the last Sunday of every month. I'm going to do a big old Prime stream, talk about business, talk about things that are on my mind. So if you've been missing the Prime streams, come on by Sunday. You'll, of course, be able to still watch the replay, so you can watch that at some time as well. So yeah, I know. Trust me, it's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. Like back and forth on that. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like the universe is like, no, you will not be able to stop those streams. So I'm like, fuck it. All right, well, let's at least do them once a month. And that way for me, it's like I still have my time during the week, because one of the reasons I got rid of the tier was like every Friday I would get so burnt out. And then I didn't feel like I was bringing enough value in those streams, you know? And I think for people that like that kind of content, and I know a lot of you do, and I miss those streams too, to bump it to once a month, but still be able to try to provide like a lot of value and talk about a lot of business, maybe help you guys out with some stuff that you're struggling with as well. I'm really excited to do that. So we'll be doing that on Sunday. Unfortunately, what that means, I know they're a canon event. That's a good way to put it. Because I'm going out of town and because I'm really busy, no call-ins today. Okay, so I'm not going to do call-ins on today's stream. All right, but next Tuesday for the Nerd Avengers stream, I want to do kind of an town hall or like an open forum where essentially we'll do a ton of call-ins on Tuesday just among the Nerd Avengers. So I know we haven't done a lot of call-ins lately, but there's just so much going on. With me and with the Nerd Avengers and with the Unity comic and all of that, that I felt like it was a good time to do a sort of open forum town hall sort of stuff. So I'll be doing that on Tuesday for the Nerd Avengers. And other than that, that's really all I got to say as far as show notes. Like, we're going to do our thing today. I wanted to check in with Marvel Studios. I wanted to talk a little bit about Marvel today and what's going on with Marvel, because we really haven't talked about Marvel pretty much all week, right? It's been the Ahsoka show, you know, a lot of conversations about Ahsoka, launching the comic, etc. I haven't really talked about Marvel. So I figured today we would dip into some of the Marvel news that's been coming out, talk about some of the changes they're making behind the scenes, and talk about when we think a turning point could arrive for Marvel Studios and if it will arrive, right? So we'll be talking about that today. But I kind of wanted to still start with a little bit of Ahsoka and just kind of talk about how I think the show's performing and what do I think is going on with Ahsoka. It's been really interesting. I think, from my perspective, and I wonder what you guys are seeing as well, I feel like Ahsoka is actually performing pretty well. Meaning, I see a lot of people talking about it. I see a lot of people positive about it. I've seen a lot of people checking the show out or sort of asking online, like, is it worth it or whatnot, right? And it's hard to say. Like, we won't know the full picture until we get the viewership numbers, and I think, you know, we still want to watch how the show performs on a week-to-week basis. Like, next week is sort of a question mark for me because it's a pretty short episode, and I really wonder how is the show going to perform from having like an hour and 40 minutes of straight content and then getting to 34 minutes the following week. That could be sort of a down point, like a low point for the show. And then I think it would kind of kick back up for episode 4 and episode 5. But the thing that's interesting about Ahsoka is I think there's a ton of problems with the show. You know, like, frankly, I think, and the more I've thought about it, I'm like, yeah, like, dude, there's a lot that's not tight. Okay. And I think the show is not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, at least yet. Right. But I'm getting a feeling that just for the simple fact that they've got lightsabers swanging around, and just for the simple fact that, like, you've got the Force, they put Anakin in the trailers, you know, I think the show is just already resonating way more than Andor. And it's going to be hard. We're going to wait for the data. We got to see what's actually going on. But what I'm seeing a lot out there is, like, a lot of normies seeing people talk about it and seeing, like, some of the lightsaber stuff or seeing some of the discussions and being like, oh, okay, well, let's check this out. And so there could be a sort of slow but steady rise of people checking the show out, of people kind of decide, like, this is where Disney is at, which, by the way, holy shit, is Disney in a disastrous spot. I think they closed at like 84. The stock price yesterday, I think, closed at 84, and it dropped all the way down to like 82 after hours. I don't know where it's at right now. Let's check it out right now. Where's Disney stock at? Let's see. 82.55. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. And that is like, that's horrible. That's like a 9-year low, I think. Or it's like around where their 9-year low is at. And it's really bad. And part of this has to do with the strike, okay? But, like, let's be real. Disney was not... you can't lay all of this at the feet of the strike. Disney has had all sorts of issues and really navigated the last couple of years very poorly, in my opinion. I got no fucking love for Disney. I'm going to be honest with you. I got no love for Disney. Zero. In fact, and I think a lot of you guys already know this, bro, I wish so badly that Marvel and Star Wars were not owned by Disney. You know, like, because I love Marvel. And, I've loved Marvel for a long, long time. I love the comics. I love the characters, the House of Ideas, like, everything about... I really, really love Marvel. And I love Star Wars. I mean, bro, come on, man. Like, Star Wars, growing up, seeing it with my dad, like, bro, like, I love Star Wars. Love Star Wars, love George Lucas, love all this sort of stuff. It's actually a shame and a detriment that both of these things that I love are attached to this corporation that I think is just fucking up left and right. Zero love for Disney. you know? And it's like, it's such an unfortunate spot that I feel like I find myself in, where unfortunately a lot of what happens to these properties that I love is controlled by Disney, right? And it's like, oof, it's really, really rough. But the point is this, like, for the stock price to be at a sort of 9-year low and the strikes to be lingering and all these sort of stuff, it's like, this does affect not only Ahsoka tangibly, but it affects it sort of esoterically as well, like, meaning the perception of the show. Like, for instance, Disney lost 300,000 US-based subscribers to Disney Plus while The Mandalorian Season 3 was airing. Do you know what I mean? And, like, that's a bad look, because even though it's not a one-to-one and it's not necessarily causal, it just looks bad, and it sort of paints it in a bad picture, right? When it comes to Ahsoka, the thing that I'm concerned about, and I want to talk more about this in videos. I think I'm going to do like a really... If I have time on Sunday, I'm like filling my fucking Sunday with shit that I shouldn't be doing because I'm going to be so tired from my trip. But I do want to do a video sort of breaking this down really succinctly, because Ahsoka is a bizarre show in that it didn't come out of the gate, I think, firing on all cylinders. I don't think it's flawless. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's good enough to turn the narrative around for Star Wars. And yet, for me personally, the vision that Filoni has and what he is setting up is so compelling that I find myself like just looking past a lot of the flaws and being really excited about the show. But what's interesting about that is, like, how much of the rest of the Star Wars fan base and the potential Star Wars fan base, how much of that fan base is going to feel the same way, and how much of that potential fan base is going to, like, show up? You know what I mean? And I think that is yet to be determined. And I think the show, like, here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, this is still a Disney Plus show. And it still has restrictions placed upon it by Disney. And it's still going to drip drop here and there. Like, this next week could be a low point for the show if it comes out and it's, like, not a great episode and it was, like, a shaky beginning. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So, I'm watching cautiously. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching cautiously. I'm trying to see how it all goes. I think it's absolutely possible, and I've said this kind of from the jump, I think it's possible that Ahsoka is the exact show I want it to be, a show that I've wanted for a long time, and I think, like, the maturing of Filoni into a great live-action storyteller, it could be all of these things and still fail. And it's like, oh, man. That is going to be very tough for me as a fan and for the Star Wars fan base. But out of curiosity, like, what do you guys see? Like, what do you think? Like, what are you seeing out there? You think a lot of people are very excited? Look, the reviews are great. The buzz on it's great. But, like, here's the other thing that I've been thinking about. Like, even my buddy Paul, right, from Heavy Spoilers, he's not really feeling it. Ryan Airy, not really feeling it. A lot of people that are not hardcore, that have not bought into Filoni, are not feeling it. And these are not like your regularly scheduled haters either. These are people that will give everything a fair shake. Right? So it's like, ooh, it's a little tough, right? It's a little tough. Word of mouth is going to pop in about 3 weeks. It definitely could. Amongst those I know, Ahsoka seems to be popping in a positive way. I haven't seen this with Star Wars in a long time. Yeah, there's some really good signs I'm seeing as well. Like, I'm not all doom and gloom. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not all doom and gloom. And again, I like the show. I'm excited to see where it goes. But I'm seeing some really good signs out there in the fan base. Like, I really am. Like, a lot of people kind of uniting around it, galvanizing around. You know, another thing that's kind of crazy about the Ahsoka discourse is it's really, I think, proving my point about Andor. You know what I mean? So when Andor came out, I mean, obviously, I completely reject it. Face value, reject it as Star Wars. And one of the things I said back then was, I was like, making Andor will prove to be a mistake for the Star Wars brand. Because Star Wars was never a complicated, like, So I've seen some people like digging into Ahsoka and saying like all sorts of weird criticisms of like, well, why didn't the planet respond to this thing? And it's like, bro, all those questions are stupid as fuck. It's like Frank Miller has this awesome quote from back in the day where he's talking about like the kind of people that ask questions about how much air goes into the tires of the Batmobile. Who pumps the tires of the Batmobile? And it's like, fucking nobody! It's a fictional story! Nobody gives a shit about that! Oh my god! And Andor, believe it or not, caused some of those questions to happen. Because Andor approaches Star Wars from a completely different lens, where things like that matter. And it's so, like, stupid. It's like, who gives a fuck? I don't care who puts the tires in the Batmobile. I don't care. I want Batmobile to be a detective, come out of the fucking shadows and kick some ass. And that's what I feel like Ahsoka is. Like, Ahsoka is, like, doing the Star Wars shit. Right? And, like, that's, again, like, going back and, like, oh, like, Andor. It's a well-made show that is not Star Wars. And by them doing it, can you have both? I don't think so. No, I don't fucking think you can, RG. Maybe you can. But here's the point, okay? Like, let's say I have a burger joint, okay? And I make some dope burgers, bro. Like, you show up and you're like, this is an incredible burger, okay? It's got a nice, juicy patty. Pause. You know? Some nice ingredients, you know, put together in a really cool way. And it's like, damn, dude, these burgers. There's just something about these burgers. And then randomly, I put on the menu bacon wrap filet mignon. Okay? And all of a sudden, you've got some people that are like, bro, fuck a burger. This bacon wrap filet mignon is fire. Okay? But it's not the burger. It's not what we do here. Okay? So it is a fundamental branding mistake to not only slap the name Star Wars on something, but spend $250 goddamn million, get Tony Gilroy, make it the biggest deal ever, promote the shit out of it, and it's not a burger. I didn't get into Star Wars for that. That's not what drew me in. That's not what made me fall in love with it. And like, dude, like I love all sorts of stuff. Like there's a variety of like kind of entertainment that we can have. You know, it's like a smorgasbord. And like, bro, my favorite movie of all time is Schenectady, New York. Okay? So like I get it. I get the highbrow stuff. I love that shit. I love that cerebral shit. Existentialism. Like, dude, I'm about it. But I don't need that in Star Wars. That's not why I go to Star Wars. Right? So I think you have, and that's just one of the many problems that is, facing Star Wars. But, like I said, the discourse around Ahsoka, I think, has historically proven that the point I had about Andor is correct. You can see it. And I think even some of the people that were very critical of me back then, which, that's fair. I'm a little flagrant. I get out. I talk my shit. It is what it is. But I think even some of the people that were very critical of me back then are starting to see what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Starting to understand the take. And, yeah, so like I don't know. Like at this point, there's been so many mistakes made by Lucasfilm and Star Wars. My biggest question is like, will Ahsoka be enough? Will Ahsoka be enough? Now, on the more positive side, right? On the more positive side, the thing that's really interesting is I mean, Dave's cooking with fucking gasoline, bro. So these first 2 episodes are almost like not indicative at all of what the show's gonna do, you know? Because like I don't want to go deep on spoilers, right? But we've got Anakin Skywalker, we've got Thrawn, we've got Ezra Bridger, we've got an entirely new galaxy, which may show and share new secrets of like the Force and all that sort of shit. So like, bro, he is cooking with absolute gas. But like he's slow burning. He's like preheating the oven, and it's like, God damn it, Dave! Like, look outside. Another restaurant reference. These people have been waiting in line to get in. It's been 40 minutes for their food. We don't have appetizers out. God damn it, Dave! Can we cook a little faster? You know what I mean? And it's like from a business perspective, I'm like, bro, you need to cook faster. From a storytelling perspective, I love it, and I think Dave is like, I mean, that's the sign of a really great storyteller. It's very similar, actually, ironically, to how some of you guys feel about Tony Gilroy, where he's like, oh, let him cook. Like, what? How many episodes was Andor besides like way too fucking many? How many episodes were in Andor? Was it seriously? Was it like 15? 18? 12. Okay, yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay, so you got 12 episodes of Andor that literally does nothing, right? You're gonna need an entire second season to even make sense of the goobly glob. You know, and like, you know, people presume to like love that kind of shit, and you know, he was deliberate. I'll say this about Tony. He's deliberate. You know, he's sure of himself, and he's deliberate. He told the exact story he wanted to tell, and it was slow burn. Dave is doing the same thing, and it's just so funny because I know he's got the gas, I know he's got the goods, but it's weird to be in the spot that we are currently at. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to be in the spot that we're at, where I'm just not sure. I feel uncertain of what the show will be and how the fans will respond to it. And if I were Disney, I would be feeling good about the show, though. I think it's going to probably end up having a pretty good, sizable viewership for its introduction. I think you've got a lot of conversations about it. And look, at the end of the day, too, like, because of the strike and because of sort of the slowing down, of Hollywood and productions, et cetera, like, the ironic thing is, you know, both the retractors, where you at, chillin', both the tractor reactors and the shills, they're both really thirsty for this show. Like, make no mistake about it, people on both sides are feeling it a little bit because there hasn't been as much stuff to either make content about or to dunk on and make content on. So, ironically, all of those people are really excited that there's actually something to talk about, and they're going to talk about it. And so for the next 6 weeks, right? For the next 6 weeks, there'll be a lot of discussion about Ahsoka, good and bad. And both of them actually drive viewership. I think some of the tractor reactors are driving viewership. I think people are like, okay, I got to see for myself, or like, I want to know, et cetera, et cetera. There's also a lot of people that sort of hate watch those channels that are going to go watch it again to like see if there's any truth in it or try to figure out how to disprove, right? So overall, a good start, but the jury's still out. You know what I mean? So we'll just see. I mean, I'm happy. Yeah, 8 episodes, but it's 6 more weeks because they did 2 in the first one. So overall, it's like, I gotta be honest with you guys. I did not anticipate feeling the way I feel right now, where there's a lot I don't like in Ahsoka. Like, straight up, there's a lot I don't like. You know, I've said it in my stream, I said it in the video. But I see the vision. It feels like Star Wars, and I'm going to let him cook. I thought, and I kept saying, anything less than a masterpiece will disappoint me. You know? And I'm not there. It's very weird. It's a strange vibe. You know what I mean? I feel like we're living on the edge, so to speak. Stop making excuses for Filoni. Is that what it seems like? Am I making excuse? Like, real talk, is that what it seems like? I'm making excuses for Filoni? Mr. Poppy, is that really what you think? Because, like, I just think it's so crazy, man. In a sea of motherfuckers on the internet that you could predict to probably a 99.9% accuracy of how people are going to feel about shit just based on their brand. And in a world where people are so fucking audience captured that they probably lie straight up to your face on a daily basis because they don't want to ruffle feathers or put their AdSense revenue at fucking jeopardy. The fact that, like, I genuinely think I'm literally one of the realest people out talking about this shit, and I still have little buttholes like you coming in here. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Poppy. I'm calling you a butthole. Coming in here and saying I'm making excuses for Filoni. Holy shit. Like, that shit is crazy to me. I'm making excuses for Filoni. Wow. Okay. Anyway, how do you guys feel about Ahsoka? You know what I mean? Like, real talk. Like, where are you at with the show? How do you feel about the show? Let me know. I'm not a butthole, I swear. All right. I feel great. Now I want some stew. Oh, okay. I like it so far. Josh loves his fans. Yeah, I do. I love my fans. Josh being paid by Dave. Absolutely. It's all right so far. I have my issues too, but I'm not going to shit all over it. I'm letting Dave cook. Oh, okay, right on. Ahsoka is cool. Andor is cool too. Fair. Hey, Josh, man. Much love. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Solid 8. Needs more Choppa. I do like Choppa. I do like Chopper in the store. I do like me some Chopper. Slow and boring. I really want to like it, though. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think that it is slower. Like, you can't deny it's slower. I mean, he's got like a... How long is the scene of Ahsoka just solving the puzzle in the desert? That's a long scene, dude. Like, I think it's probably 5 to 10 minutes long. That shit is crazy. But, like, I love it. Like, I'm all about it. But I also think, like, it's totally fair to say, like, that probably isn't going to work for everybody. You know what I mean? Love it. Rebels cast don't all give the same vibes as animated counterparts. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Speaking of the Sam Witwer bit, I've got a big video coming out later this afternoon all about that Sam Witwer shit. Bro, I went from thinking it was a 0% chance to, like, I'm pretty much at 100. I'm pretty much at 100. And I think you'll enjoy that video because I go over some of the evidence. But there's something big here that I think a lot of people are missing. And I don't want to give it away, but that, like, when I was thinking about it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's how you set up Starkiller. Oh my god. That's how you do it." I wonder if any of you have figured it out. Yeah. Cuz, like, and it's ironic, right? Because guys, I've been doing Nerd Theory for 2+ years. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Time's crazy. Okay? But I've been doing YouTube or Nerd Theory for years. And I swear to God, this is not cap. I am asked every single podcast about Starkiller in live action. Every single podcast. And many of you know, I get a little frustrated by it because I'm like, bro, no, it would not work. Like, what are you talking about? Stop trying to make it happen. I feel like Mean Girls, right? Where I'm like, just let it go. Stop trying to make Galen Merrick canon happen, you know? And I can't fucking believe it, dude. I can't fucking believe it. The son of a bitch might have done it. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So we'll talk about that in the video later. Okay. Okay, so jury's still out on Ahsoka. Sorry I went hard on Mr. Poppy. It just gets really frustrating, dude. Like, imagine, like, real talk. Imagine, because I would literally be more successful if I was audience captured. Like, that's the thing that, like, drives me crazy is like, oh, no, dude, like, I could absolutely play that game. And I could change how I feel. I could change what I report. I could change that to better fit in to whatever the fuck's going on out there in the world, okay? But I've made it a point to say, hey, less success, but more realness is the lane that I'm trying to carve out. It's like, I will say no to that, and I'll try to be real. And it's just like, it's so frustrating because, you know, I get it. Like, it's either I'm a shill or I've now become hater, fucking fandom menace. That's what it is. It's like I literally get just attacked because there's no room for nuance. And it's really frustrating when people are like, bro, you're just you're making excuses for... What are you talking about? I literally said there's so many things I don't like about it. What I said was what I meant. Holy shit. Start to try to recognize the difference, you know? God dang! Okay, anyways, speaking of crazy things, let's talk about Unity a little bit. I'll talk more about this on Sunday, right? So let's talk about Unity. Ooh, doing pretty good. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, so here's where we're at with the campaign, okay? We're just over $28,000. Closing in on 30,000, which was like, that's the biggest goal for me. Was I wanted to try to get to 30,000 in like the first week. And I've looked at some data or whatever, and it's like we have a very, very good chance of making this goal. And this is a huge deal, not only for me, but for the team, right? This is like a big deal for the team. If we get this goal, we create this book, it's a massive chunk of work for them and potentially one of the biggest, you know, projects that they've done. And I'm loving the support. I'm so excited to get this book out there. We've got a lot of promoting to do. I haven't done nearly enough promoting, and yet I still feel like we're sitting at a very, very good spot. The thing that I want, though, is more actual backers. So we have frankly, an absurd number of funding from a smaller amount of backers, which is like basically a lot of y'all getting out there and crushing it with the support and really wanting to be a part of this and bring this IP to life. So I really appreciate it. But I would suggest that if you can, check out one of the smaller tiers. Like for $10, you basically get to support the thing. And when we finish that first chapter of this 5-chapter book, just like everybody else in the campaign, I will ship you, it's the PDF, but I will give you that. And you will be able to experience and check out the story for yourself. Because I do think committing to like 100-page graphic novel when you haven't read any of it, when you don't know fully what the book is about, yeah, like that's a leap of faith, and I totally get that. But we designed it so that you can come in and just back at the $10 level. It really helps because we don't want to just make the book. We want the book to find its audience, and we want to get it out there for more people. So I'd suggest checking that out. You can go for $1. You know what I mean? I know some people that literally just pledge $1, and it helps. You know what I mean? It helps more than $1. It helps like getting the word out, showing that there's more support, all of these different things. It's a big, big deal. I do have something special planned for next week. I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but I will say that everybody that has already backed the project and everybody that will back it next week, you're going to get something a little extra. Just to give a push next week. I have some cool stuff in mind. So yeah, go check out Unity. Go watch the video, look at the pages, check out what we're talking about in these streams, and if it sounds cool, we would really appreciate your support. I'm trying to launch a new IP, man. You know, like I said, like it kind of breaks my heart that a lot of the stuff I love is kind of controlled by Disney, and it's just like a weird time right now. It feels like they're super out of touch, etc., etc. So, like, fuck all that. I want to do my own thing. I want to have my own thing, my own IP, my own characters, a story that you guys have stake in that we're going to tell for years and years to come. So go check out Unity if you have not yet. It's cool. It's cool. It's real fucking cool. Actually, too, we got the first ever fan art yesterday. I just want to show you this because I think it's pretty sweet. Check this out. Chibi Midas. I thought this was cool, man. People are starting to do like fan art interpretations of the characters, which is really, really cool. I also showed yesterday Angel for the first time, showed the design of this character out publicly. It's a very important character for the book. She's an absolute badass. Excited for you to see more of her. But yeah, we've got some good stuff coming, man. Some good stuff. We are cooking with gasoline. I'm so fucking excited. I think the story's dope, man. I put a lot into it. I think you're going to be blown away. Okay. So let's talk about Marvel for a little bit. She's hot. Oh, yeah, she's hot. She's a babe for sure. Let's talk about Marvel. So I probably don't have to like linger on the fact that Marvel is in a rough spot. And man, I was thinking about 2019, feeling like we're on top of the world. 2019 was wild, you know, feeling like we were on top of the world. Just out of curiosity too, how many of you guys were there for the streams, the San Diego Comic-Con streams in 2019 when we got all the announcements of the shows and all the slates and you know, everything like that? How many of you guys were around? Do any of you guys remember I actually did a stream with my buddy Angelo and he was like wasted? I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but so I had just moved down to Pittsburgh. I think we were over at my sister's place for like some kind of party, and they started like, you know, doing all the announcements and everything like that. And so we went back to his place, and we started like, we set up the stream or whatever. And I was trying to get my buddy like to maybe think about doing YouTube and shit for me. And I literally ruined him in one stream because he was like really drunk and was not good on camera. And the comments were comments. And I think it literally like that one stream, basically he swore off being on my shit pretty much forever. But more to the point, I guess, back then, man, with all the cachet that Marvel had accumulated over the years, I mean, it felt like they could do no wrong. And it felt like with these Disney Plus shows, like we were just going to expand it. We were just going to like make it, you know, bigger than ever. It was going to be so great. And to go from that to where we're at now, it is so bizarre. You know what I mean? So frankly, so bizarre. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier on in the week was some of the stuff that we're hearing from behind the scenes, which suggests that Marvel is flailing a little bit. And things have never been more uncertain. Now, let me like go into that a little bit. Let me explain like what that means, because Marvel Studios from the jump approached their storytelling and their movie making a lot like Marvel Comics, right? And this is something that we watched a video by Screen Crush. It was either earlier this week or last week. And this is one of the things that Ryan brought up. I thought it was a great point because I make this point all the time. You know what I mean? So Stan Lee had a bullpen, and the way the Marvel Comics system would go is like Stan Lee would be like, big giant monster does crazy thing with Thor's this or whatever. And then he would like give that to Jack Kirby and the guys in the bullpen. Jack Kirby would panel it out, draw it all, make it all crazy. And then Stan Lee would write in the dialogue based upon what Jack Kirby had drawn. That was called the Marvel Formula. It was a very different, dynamic way to make comics. It's very successful for them. So Marvel Studios kind of does the same. Like, for instance, did you know that they didn't even have a finished script for Iron Man when they began shooting it? Yeah. It's like, what? And two, by the way, too, and I know I'm like ADD and like my brain goes to like different spots, but bro, I've seen so many people online, like when something happens, when a rumor comes out of a casting, right? I've seen people be like, they don't even have a script yet. As if we don't know that like Marvel does shit completely backwards all over the place. Like, of course, like what are we talking about here? Anyway, so from the beginning, Marvel Studios was constantly scrambling behind the scenes, and they heavily test these movies. So it's a little bit like Pixar. Pixar would make movies kind of by committee, especially early on. So they would kind of, throw stuff at the wall, kind of consolidate ideas based on a brain trust, and it was like best idea wins, and like a lot of testing and consolidating and fine-tuning, tinkering, right? And so Marvel did that, and that's what they did throughout the entirety of the MCU. When it comes to Disney Plus, though, the biggest problem was Feige's inability to oversee all of that. So you have this massive quality control. You've got the pandemic. You've got all these different factors. But it basically just puts us at the spot where we're currently at right now. And as I've said many times, the biggest danger to Marvel Studios moving forward is the fact that, like, they have so much filler and content that doesn't serve the brand, and they seem to refuse to cancel it. Right? So stuff like Echo, stuff like Agatha, stuff like Wonder Man, stuff like just all these projects that like don't matter. And even like, to a degree, even the Marvels, right? These projects are not what people are excited about. And as a YouTuber, I can tell you for certain that these are projects that nobody's excited for. Right now, the only way that I can get really great views on a Marvel video is if it's something connected to Deadpool 3, or if it's something connected to Secret Wars or the X-Men. Full stop. Like, that is what people care about. They care about Deadpool 3, mostly because that is the X-Men and potentially a setup for Secret Wars. They care about Secret Wars because that is when you'll finally get all the characters we really care about with Marvel back. And so Marvel's in like this really, really weird spot. Now, we talked about the reboot. I believe I did a video on it, but I don't think we talked about it on stream, right? Chat, just correct me if I'm wrong. Have we talked about the reboot on stream? I don't think we have. Maybe like briefly, but we haven't like really dove into it, right? Okay. So, and I did a big video about this, but here's the TLDR. The idea is to reboot the MCU after Secret Wars. Okay? And it's currently, I think, being floated around as a soft reboot. And there's a couple of different options for your soft reboot. And let me just kind of try to break it down like this. The first version of the soft reboot would be more of a consolidation, keeping all of the canon past, and I think maybe from the point of either Loki or Quantumania, everything that happens from that point all the way to Secret Wars and the ending of Secret Wars, all of that would essentially be erased or happen in an alternate timeline, okay? And then the current MCU is kind of picking up like after sort of Endgame, and then you would bring in maybe some Fox X-Men, you'd bring in maybe some Sony characters, you might even bring Robert Downey Jr. back and Chris Evans back as Captain America, which I think is the move. If they do that, I actually think it completely works, and you just bring everybody back. Like, and I know some of you guys don't like the idea. Let's go to the polls. Let's go to the polls on this, okay? Because I'm really curious how the audience feels. That is the first option of a soft reboot. And let me just kind of explain why it's important that this is one version. You would get the history of the MCU of the Infinity Saga still being canon. You would have maybe some changes, but all those things still happened. And you do Chris Evans and you do RDJ. Maybe you do Hugh Jackman. Maybe you do Patrick Stewart. I don't know exactly, but like that's the idea, is like consolidate. Secret Wars changes things, but everything that happened before, okay? That's option number one. Option number two is that Secret Wars will end this version of the cosmos. Okay? It will end that version of the cosmos. This has happened in Marvel before. Like, so Galactus comes from a different version of the cosmos. The first Firmament, who's like a really weird sort of entity, is from the very first version of the cosmos, but also before the multiverse happened. And so in Marvel, I think there's been 8 or 9 versions of the cosmos that get destroyed and reborn. So in option number 2, none of the Infinity Saga actually happened in this new universe. It would be like all that shit happened on an alternate timeline, and then that universe was destroyed. And so then in this new universe, it would have potentially a new actor for Iron Man, potentially a new actor for Captain America, and you would see stuff like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the mutants and all that kind of stuff, like kind of all happening at once. More like the comic version of the Marvel Universe. Okay? So those are the two versions. Now let's just go to the polls real quick before I go any further. And let's see what y'all think about that. What reboot do you want? Version 1. Version 2. Yeah. Yeah. Both horrible ideas. I'm gonna be real. I don't really like either of them. Either. But I can see scenarios in which both have benefits. Which one was which one again? Jesus Christ. Okay. Version number 1 is a consolidation. Everything that happened still happened. It's like the soft reboot version of that, okay? The second version is like new canon. Potentially you bring some of these same actors in, but they're new versions of the characters. These are variants, and it is a whole new universe. A new Iron Man, a new, you know what I mean? Whoever they want to keep, they keep. Whoever they want to get rid of, they get rid of. But it's technically a new version of the cosmos. Wow, look at that. It's like 50-50 right now. Which version is DC doing? DC is doing the second version. But they are going to grab up some of the actors from it. So it's essentially like, okay, so imagine we went to 838 universe, and it's Tony Stark, RDJ, Chris Evans, Captain America. But you also have Ian McKellen, Magneto. You also have Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier. Meaning, like, this is just a different universe with variants of the characters we've come to know. So it's like kind of split right now. That's crazy. Okay, so let me speak a little bit more on this, okay? I think in scenario 1, the benefit is you keep the canon for the most part. So all that stuff still feels like it feeds into the other stuff. I think it would be cool because I strongly feel like bringing RDJ back and Chris Evans, like, I'd bring them back tomorrow. Like, if I was Kevin Feige, like, I would not wait for Secret Wars in 2026, 3 years from now, to bring those characters back. They're the heart and soul of Marvel, bro. Like, that shit, it's not working right now without them. It's just not working. Not the same way. So I'd bring them back immediately. But it's possible that you bring them back in a post-Secret Wars world. Things are slightly different, but it's the same guys. It's essentially the same characters. And so there's benefit there, okay? But it might be, like, too confusing. It might be, like, I don't know. Like, there's all sorts of reasons why that might not be viable, okay? Now, in the second scenario, I think it's interesting to do a whole new MCU and, like, really seeing what Iron Man looks like in this version, seeing what the new actor would bring to the role, having the X-Men and Doctor Doom actually be a part of that universe. Because, like, one of the things I keep thinking about is, like, okay, so they're going to introduce MCU Doctor Doom, but they're not going to do it until after Secret Wars in a big way. So, like, what is this dude doing the whole time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to explain why that dude is not essentially behind most everything. And that feels, like, confusing and weird. You know what I mean? So, like, I just don't know. Like, it almost feels like they're saving them because they want to have it all exist at the same time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how that could work. I will say this, though. Either way, you still have the opportunity to bring these nostalgic actors back because, like, I remember reading the Timeless book, and there's what was supposed to be a dead universe that is, like, still somehow out there in the timelines. And, like, I remember, like, Doom, or no, it's Kang. Like, Kang goes there, and you find that it's a Reed Richards that has become Doctor Doom, and he took 2 of the Infinity Stones and, like, replaced his eyes with Infinity Stones. It's really weird, but it's like, yeah, you've got a dead universe or something that should have been dead that technically still exists in canon. So, like, it's comics. You could always, like, bring them back, pull that lever whenever you wanted. But I think the reboot in general kind of feels bad because it almost seems like an admittance of defeat. Because, like, one of the big problems with Marvel right now is this massive bloated thing where, like, how are you actually supposed to follow this story moving forward? Right? So, like, going in the Infinity Saga from, like, Age of Ultron into Civil War into Winter Soldier and all that sort of stuff, like, it all, like, you can follow that story, right? But, like, what is going on in Marvel right now? Like, I don't think anybody has a clear idea of how all of this fits together. And so let's talk about Scarlet Witch for a second, okay? I'm going to change gears, but there's a reason why. So Scarlet Witch, an incredibly popular Marvel character, regardless of how some of you guys feel about Wanda, which, let me know. Let it out. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. How y'all feel about the Scarlet Witch, let me know. Okay? But the Scarlet Witch is an incredibly popular character. And we've all been sitting back and we're like, oh, dude. Boner good? Jesus. Ralph Boner, huh? So most of us have been sitting back and being like, oh, dude, obviously Wanda really matters. Wanda's going to be the Molecule Man. Wanda's going to be in Deadpool. Wanda's going to, you know, be doing this, that, second, and the third. Here's the real truth, at least as far as I understand it. You guys remember when I said, oh, I think I have a source that's lying to me about Wanda not being in the movie? Anybody remember that? Anybody remember that? Oh, fuck. Okay, so they might not have been lying. Because this week, Can We Get Some Toast? Or maybe it was last week, Toast and I think My Time to Shine are both now saying, yeah, there's no Wanda in Deadpool 3. Okay? On top of that, according to Charles Murphy, it's because they don't know what to do with Wanda. Yeah. They don't even know what to do with her. So, you've got this really popular character. You've made her significant in all kinds of ways. And to be fair, by the way, just as a small aside here, Alex Perez and the Cosmic Circus and I don't know if I should say this, but I'm just going to fucking say it. Daniel, RPK, I talked to him behind the scenes. He says he thinks Wanda and the Illuminati are in it. That's what he told me. So you've got kind of like Daniel, Alex, maybe the rest of the Cosmic Circus team that are saying Wanda's in it. And then you've got Toast, you've got Shine, and you've got Charles Murphy kind of saying, oh no, she's not in it. And Charles Murphy's also kind of like, it's because they don't know what to do with her. And this is the issue. Because I think Marvel is currently realizing that they need to refocus this story. Okay? And like, if you look at the Infinity Saga, the story is really about Cap and it's about Steve and Tony, the Avengers in general, and then how those two leaders have dealt with different things. Thor fucks off after Age of Ultron and doesn't come back until Ragnarok, but he's not really back until Infinity War. The Guardians, they kind of fuck off. You know, they do their own thing. They come back for Infinity War. Doctor Strange, who had one movie, basically fucks off until Infinity War. Okay? And the story was told through the lens of these two dudes and a lot of, like, you know, kind of ancillary characters to them. And that kept the story tight. It's meaningful. When you get there and the Avengers being disassembled is part of the reason that Thanos wins. And then that pays off in Endgame, where Tony and Cap shake hands, finally make, you know, and then they actually try to fix things together. It's like really focused and really meaningful. I've not been told this from anybody, but my perspective on this is they probably realized, actually, before they did the reshoots to Doctor Strange 2, they probably realized, oh, well, we need to make this about Doc Strange. And so it's possible that now going into Doc Strange 3, which is rumored to involve the Black Priests and, you know, a lot of the time runs out stuff, it seems like they're putting a really big focus on Steven. And it seems like in this sort of sea of Phase 4 and Phase 5 content, they're trying to figure out, like, who are the characters and the lenses that we need to tell this story through to have it actually pay off. And you can just see all of the cracks and the flaws in that thinking. Again, because it's like, okay, well then why do you have 5 WandaVision spin-offs? Like, what are we doing with that, man? Like, what's the deal with Shang-Chi then? What the fuck is going on with the Eternals? They've got like a million things that they're trying to like set up and tell and, you know, push things forward. but there's no focus. There's no central lensing. There's no, like, who are the Avengers, right? And so I think what is going on right now, and now let me kind of, because we've been a little doom and gloom. Let me try to be a little optimistic about where I think this is headed. I think movies like Doctor Strange 3, Shang-Chi 2, those movies, and maybe with Captain America as well, the fourth one, I think there is actually going to be an attempt to try to focus that lens and to tell that story, right? So basically, what I've heard and what I think is going on behind the scenes is they are dropping all sorts of ideas that they had. They've canceled the Nova show. You know, there were a lot of different things. Maybe even like Moon Knight season 2. So like instead of like pushing ahead on Moon Knight, maybe like fuck that, like let's focus on the actual story. So I think they're dropping a lot of stuff. And I think they're going to refocus it. And this sort of takes me to what I believe was going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con, because remember when we thought San Diego Comic-Con was still going to happen, I was really excited because I was hearing stuff about how, oh, they're going to go big, even bigger than they did before. And what I think we're really talking about here is Doctor Strange 3, Shang-Chi 2, and really the actual cracking open of the multiverse saga. So like the Battle World thing. So basically Feige will put, like, here, I'm going to tell you right now what it's going to be. In my opinion, this is speculation. You're going to get Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars popping up on a big screen. Everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah. And then, bam, Eternity Wars will pop up after that. And Feige will be like, yeah, so it's actually way bigger than we first said. And you're going to have all these projects. They're going to really deal with the craziness of the multiverse, et cetera, et cetera. And we just got word yesterday that Marvel will be doing a presentation on September 10th at 10:30 for D23. Okay. And look, I don't know. There's two ways I think this could go. It's like, it's kind of dependent, I think, on the writer's strike. Yeah, D100. Whatever, bro. Semantics. Jesus Christ. Trev put that in 3 times. Brother, put the coffee down. My God, man. Oh, my God, bro. Okay, so scenario 1. This replaces what was supposed to happen at San Diego Comic-Con, which is actually really important. I've had 5 cups this morning. Bro, you're just like me. Nobody clipped that. Let's ignore that I've ever said that. He's not just like me. I didn't say it. Okay, anyway. Scenario number 1. This is a replacement for San Diego Comic-Con where they actually do put some of that stuff up on the board, which would be great. Because I think we're realizing how important hype is to this Marvel machine. And without San Diego Comic-Con last year, Marvel would be in an even worse spot. Like, for real. It would be, the discourse would be even worse. I mean, how would we be able to make Secret Wars videos? And how would I be able to connect Deadpool 3 to Secret Wars if Feige hadn't put Secret Wars up on the board last year? Right? So it's pretty important to the whole factory, is that sort of hype and that sort of constant moving of the goalpost that's in front of us, and the potential of these projects fitting into that picture is a big part of it. So in scenario number 1, they talk about it. And they go hard and they show us some crazy things and we get excited. Scenario number 2 is like them talking about fucking Echo and the Marvels. Oh boy. Oh boy. So we'll just see. And I think the real question is, and this is like the race against time for Marvel, right? Is, bro, they need this strike to end very badly. Everybody needs the strike to end, you know? But I think Marvel really needs these strikes to end. Because it's a whole factory. You know what I mean? Is it time for a Deadpool 3 trailer? No. No, I don't think so. I mean, potentially they could do that, but the problem is unless the strikes are over, you don't want to do that. Because then you're going to have to, like, start the campaign over. Usually you've got about a 6-month marketing campaign and it really heats up about 3 months out. So if you do the first trailer in September and the strikes go into next year and you can't even finish this movie until the beginning of next year, then you just have to restart. So you'd have to cut another awesome trailer for the teaser and kind of get the promotion going that way. So I don't really see that happening unless the strikes are over. Aquaman is cooked. That's true, but Aquaman was cooked regardless. And low-key, Warner Brothers is probably hoping the strikes are still active so that they can put an asterisk next to that movie. Because that movie's going to bomb in spectacular fashion. So I guess my whole point here, guys, is like Marvel has never been on shakier ground. The truth is they have incredible ideas. They have incredible ideas. They have incredible concepts. They have incredible stuff that's coming. It just feels like it's 3 years away. And I don't know how many people can take their like 6 square meals of Marvel bullshit and still be hungry for what's to come afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, frankly, I'm really fucking concerned, you know? Despite being very excited about Secret Wars. Like, bro, come on. I'm really excited about this. But I mean, they need wake-up calls, and I think they've been getting wake-up calls. I guess I just worry. It's like going back to the Ahsoka thing, right? Like, the real concern is not that Ahsoka is not a good show. Even though that's a concern, it's more of a concern that the show will not succeed because of the failures of Star Wars and Disney and Kathy compounding over and over and over again. Because if you've got, in my opinion, some pretty good Star Wars content that might end up being some of the best Star Wars content, and it still just doesn't do numbers, that's scary. Pack it up. You know what I mean? Basically, pack it up. And Marvel's in similar territory. So, yeah. And then, is there any other? Let's check the Reddit, because there are some like kind of smaller stories. Like, for instance, some people are saying that maybe the Marvels will move up to November 3rd to take advantage of the IMAX screens because they pushed Dune Part 2 into 2024. What do you guys make of Dune being delayed? And also, I want to show you, let's do the ADD thing. Let's jump around a little bit. I want to show you this. Check this out. Streaming residual proposal from AMPTP is insane. If the WGA were stupid enough to accept it, we would all just end up striking again in 2026. Now is and always was the right time for this fight. Okay, so there's beginning to be some buzz here that some concessions are being made. I don't know. I feel like we've heard this before, right? But it says, finally the companies say they have a major concession by offering to allow 6 WGA staff to study limited streaming viewership data for the next 3 years so we can return in 2026 to ask once again for a viewership-based residual. In the meantime, no writer can be told by the WGA about how well their project is doing, much less receive a residual based on that data. And just as a little TLDR to, what's happening right now, they are back at the table Apparently, Bob Iger and some others are trying to sort of be the front-facing, like, let's get this deal done people. And apparently, according to some of the reports I've read, the WGA was basically scolded about how good their current offer was. Right? And, I continue to feel like there's no good way out of this. You know what I mean? Because here's the other thing, man. Here's what I see that's going on. By the way, totally random. I'm just going to throw this out there. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, I'm going to be on the Valiant Renegades channel. And you know what? I like that guy, man. And they've been doing some good reporting. I think they slant pretty anti-Disney, which, I mean, frankly, is like, I'm kind of down, you know. We see things a little bit differently, and I think it'll be interesting to get into some conversations about this, right? But I was talking to a dude yesterday about this because Disney has just brokered some kind of a deal with Amazon for some of the streaming rights to the NFL. And from my perspective, I feel like some of this is being done to make the Apple deal go through. Okay? Meaning, right now, I don't think Apple would actually get approved to buy Disney because of certain competitive sort of things that Disney does that Apple would have like kind of too much wider control. But one of the ways they could go about this is by actually selling off or divesting in some of the assets that they have to potentially make the deal like work. And I think all of the studios are in a weird holding pattern. Like, this is what I think is going on. The studios are in a holding pattern because if they give the actual numbers for these shows out, the writers, but more importantly, Wall Street, will realize there's no money there. Okay? So part of the reasons the studios don't want to give residuals is not because they can't afford it. It's because if they start giving residuals, everybody's going to know there's no fucking money. There's no money. There's no money. There's no viewership there. So the studios, because they want to get bought by tech companies, that's the best thing for their shareholders. They're in this holding pattern because they have to hold the perceived value from Wall Street to be able to broker the best deal for their own purchase. Like, does that make sense? Like, do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, the reason this, because it feels absurd, right? Like, I've seen people say it's like a 0.08 or something. And it's like, why wouldn't they just bend? Well, it has less to do with them giving the money and more to do with transparency of the fact that there is no money. Like, you feel me? So, like, I don't see how this goes well, you know? And, yeah, so we'll just see. Now, what's the WGA going to do? Because, I mean, like, at this point, we're well over 100 days into the strike, and it's really not a good look for everybody. And I think the studios have to make a move, but it's also, like, from their perspective, especially because they're probably trying to shore up this purchase, they want to get bought. Maybe they're thinking, well, we're literally not going to bend on this, because we'll just force majeure out all of our contracts. actually save some cash flow, will write down projects that fall apart based on the results of the strike, sort of shoring up some cash, and then we maybe eliminate some debt, and then it's Apple's fucking problem. Basically, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it just feels so weird. Like, there obviously has to be something else going on. Because, like, as Iger has said before, bro, this ain't his first rodeo. They negotiate every 3 years. Why is this one different? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's quite strange. So, we'll see how that shakes out. But, like, essentially, if they do get this fixed, right? Like, I think right now Marvel is reevaluating a lot of stuff and trying to figure out which direction they want to go in. And there's a lot of discussion at an executive level still happening. But they can't really move on anything until the strikes end. And, yeah, they've got Echo, they've got the Marvels, but like I said, like, they badly need Deadpool 3. I think Captain America 4 could technically come out, because they've been shooting that for a long time, and I know they've injected changes, and they want to do all these new different things. It's possible they could do some of that without, it's like, they could probably cut together a version of Captain America to release in theaters next year. But they will not be able to make the best version of Captain America 4, because we know, based on Marvel's history, the way they create projects is to scramble. They scramble. So, what a weird fucking time. And then the whole Dune thing, it's so interesting. Like, I feel like the Dune delay is the studio trying to hurt the actors and the writers. Because, like, I don't think Dune is going to be that affected by a lack of promotion. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm wrong? Like, frankly, I don't think promotion would have saved Blue Beetle. It just looks too generic. And I've actually seen some really funny TikToks about how similar Blue Beetle is to Ant-Man. It's really weird. I don't know. Have you guys seen those TikToks? No, I don't watch TikTok. They just get shared to other platforms. So get off my ball sack about it. But the point is, yeah, promotion wouldn't have saved that movie. And I don't think promotion would really move the needle for Dune 2. You know what I mean? So I feel like them pushing Dune 2 back is some kind of strong arm move. I feel like they want to suck the air out of the room completely for actors and writers and all these people. Because I do think Dune 2 was a big potential Oscar movie. And I feel like the studios are just showing that, like, bro, we could take away your toys. We could take away your golden statue gala night. It's crazy right now, man. Crazy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Is there anything else going on? What else should we be talking about? Well, I'm going to get into Q&A in a little bit here, but what else should we be talking about? What else is going on? Has any breaking news dropped? It's felt weird. Has anybody else felt weird? New York Comic Con? New York Comic Con's going to be lit, dude. I'll be there. A lot of the Nerd Avengers will be there. We'll talk about that next Tuesday. It's going to be good. It hasn't. Oh, Rebel Moon. All right, let me talk about that briefly. Boring Moon. Yo, the Trump mugshot. Dude, I'll tell you this. Like, obviously, like, I don't like to get political and whatnot, but you know that dude was in the mirror getting that shit down, and like, I mean, he looks pretty angry and mean. Like, that's a pretty mean looking mug. So that's all I'll say about it. Yo, chat, do me a favor here. Do me a favor, because I see all this Rebel Moon hate on Twitter, okay? And it's so crazy. I don't know why I see all this hate on Twitter. I'm like the nicest guy. I'm friendly to everybody. I don't get aggressive and angry. I don't yell at my own members and subscribers and get pissy. I don't do any of that shit. I'm like a perfect fucking goddamn angel. And so I don't understand why I get the hate. I don't understand. But I am curious. How many of y'all are hating on Rebel Moon? Just throw a one into the chat. Just be real with me, man. How many of you guys are hating on Rebel Moon? It's the glasses. I actually do want to get some new glasses. By the way, how do the black levels look here? Is this gray or is it actually black or whatever? Look at all these ones. God damn it. Too much white now? Oh, jeez. Only a little? 0.5? Okay. Damn. So, first of all you freaking buttholes that put them ones into the chat, check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. Point number 2. With Dune being pushed into next year, you guys realize that is paving the way for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon to become even bigger? Like, you know, this means that Rebel Moon has the opportunity to capture the zeitgeist even more. Netflix should release it in theaters. I think there will be a theatrical release. It'll probably be pretty limited, but I think you're going to get a theatrical release. Mm-hmm. Dude, I think Rebel Moon looks amazing. I wanted to do a Rebel Moon video this week, but both of my editors were kind of busy, and then I was kind of busy, so I didn't get to do one. Maybe I'll do a big one next week or whatever, but I'm like so excited for Rebel Moon. I think Rebel Moon is going to be incredible. Carl Jr. says, we get it, bro. You're excited for it. But do you get it? But do you get it? Yeah. Yeah. Fernie busy getting laid? No comment. No comment. You smoking crack, bro? No, I'm literally not. I'm not smoking anything right now. Holy shit. I don't get the Rebel Moon hate. Like, for real. Like, I think I saw people say I was excited for it until I saw the trailer, and I'm just like, what planet are you from? What are you talking about? Like, what in the trailer made people like less excited? I'm like, dude, you guys are crazy. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of Snyder haters, and I feel like a lot of Snyder haters just hate the Snyder fans. They don't even hate Zack Snyder. They just hate like a lot of the Snyder bros. Which, like, you know, to a degree, yeah, like I get it. Like the Snyder bros can be a little bit much. But like you're literally gonna dead ass look at that trailer and tell me you're less excited? Oh man. It's You guys are this is why I need to take a vacation. This is why I need to go down to Pittsburgh and just play Warhammer all weekend. So that I stop hearing the voices. I stop seeing the things in chat. And I'm telling you right now, Rebel Moon is it. Okay? Star Wars' death was a necessary loss. Soon, we will have a new sci-fi franchise. One far more younger and powerful. Yeah, it was pretty good. I know. Thanks. Okay, let's all right. Q&A time. Q&A time. You guys are having. Oh, you know what? One real quick thing. Is Astro Nutway in the chat by chance? Hey, Astro Nutway. Are you in the chat? Yeah, Astro Nutway. Anybody? Astro Nutway? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Just making sure. That's the guy that won the $200 GameStop gift card, yeah. Okay. Let's get into Q&A. Of course, this is the first chat in today. First chat in today is from Kaved, which, by the way, brother, I'm glad that the interview went well, and I hope you get the job. But he says, it's Sabine's birthday. Hashtag Sabine, sit it on my face. A moment of silence for Kavid's dignity. Just a moment of silence. Okay. Yo, she do got a... yeah. Chilling in the basement. Upgraded the membership. I'll see you on Sunday, brother. Sploosh says, let's go. A year of nerd venging. What I think will be a problem for Ahsoka is that if you haven't seen Rebels, you won't understand it. I watched season 4 of Rebels in one night before watching Ahsoka. I think that is an absolutely legitimate concern. And I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, brother. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to say. You know, outside of the Star Wars bubble, it's like, it's hard. You know, but yeah, I agree. That could be a big concern. Emo Joe says, Ahsoka on the new season of Fortnite Battle Pass. I did see that, and that is cool. Second Street Marvel says, be careful with your comic, Josh. Unity is a trademark. You might get in the troubles. Just saying. Yeah, I saw that with Eric, and he's being sued by some Christian group or something like that. I'm sure it'll work itself out. It sounds like some frivolous bullshit to me. I'm sure it'll be fine. Space Trick says, you never took the free Kessel Run spice. Don't throw only exist to breaketh my heart. Wait, what? Doth thou only exist to breaketh my heart. Also, you got me in a Warhammer 40k TT game. Thanks for that. Crush the heretics. Ahsoka could use more breakfast action, though. Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, much love, appreciate you, but I'm probably not emailing about buying green over the internet. I'm probably not gonna do that, bro. You know, I'm sorry. I thought about it, you know, and I just, like, maybe I'll see you in New York, or what did I just say? What did I just call New York? Jesus. Yeah, sorry, bro. Dirt Wizard with a 20 spot, very generous, brother, says, I love the Ahsoka show so far. It has piqued my interest in new Star Wars again. I did not like the lightsaber stab, but I am 100% sure that is a Disney decision. Losing limbs, I think, is too much for the Disney brand. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, you know, what's cool about, like, Ahsoka is I've seen it from, you know, myself, the ultimate example of maturity. And some others out there as well. It's nice to be able to criticize things. Is that what I said for New York? Wow, bro. It's nice to be able to criticize things without just, like, pouring on the hate and getting really toxic about it. Like, there's a lot I don't like about Ahsoka. And I feel like it's fine to point that out. We can be adults about this, and we can be like, yeah, this wasn't great. This probably could have been better. And yet, I see the vision. You know, or as the homie would say, I'm making excuses for Dave Filoni. But yeah, no, I hear you though. Julian says, happy Friday, Nerdvengers. 24 today. Oh my God. Let's get some happy birthdays in the chat for Julian. Let's get it. Star Killer is back, hopefully. Crossing my fingers that Maruk, how do I say that name? Ah, fuck it. I can't say shit anyway. Is Sam Witwer under that mask? Much love. And congrats on the Kickstarter, brother. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're having a good time with the Kickstarter. About halfway to 29 G's. I really wanted to be at 30 by the end of the week, but we're close enough where I feel good. I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel really sweaty and hot and a little bit hungry, overwhelmed, drained, stressed, but good. But good. Thank you, bro. Space Trek Serial says the only way that Andor can be saved is if they use it as a way to tell Tarkin's story. He's the former non-Force user that can keep the fan base captivated. And then you follow it up and says, since after Ahsoka, we have the whole Rebels cast in live action. I think we are going to get an LA equivalent of... Oh, live action equivalent of Clone Wars for the sequel trilogy. Maybe. Maybe. So, I saw somebody talk about Andor in the Discord last night, and I started typing, and I guess Vito saw me typing, and he was like, Josh is about to go off, you know what I mean? And I was actually pretty nice about it, because they were like, talking about, like, you know, the show getting views or whatever. Here's the truth. Andor has another chance, because it has a second season. So... if the second season is like really good, then you'll get more views on the first season. Like the second season is the chance for the show to kind of recapture. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give Andor season 2 a chance. And if it's really, really good, perhaps it'll help boost the first season. It could still be considered a success or whatever. But I say all of that while also like we also kind of got to be real. Like it failed. Like, guys, like it flopped in kind of remarkable fashion. And I would be saying that whether I like the show or not. You know what I mean? You got to watch season 1 first. Ugh. I've seen some of it. Martin says, do you have any Diamond Lounge stream reruns? I want to see the cancelable takes. No. No. I want to say the last Diamond Lounge was... I feel like the last one was pretty tame, but I feel like the one before that was pretty wild. Because last time we got into, like, aliens, interdimensional shit, and, like, all that kind of stuff, right? Pretty sure the last one was decent. Right? I still can't get into the lounge? What? Somebody will help you out on Discord, bro. Yoda says, OG Star Wars IP lore and characters will always have the resurrection power to bring Star Wars back to life. Those bags of seeds will always have growth with water. I think that's true, but I think what we're really talking about is like, is this season of Star Wars a failure? Like, it may be the case that they have to shelve Star Wars for like, I frankly think you'll still see Indiana Jones movies eventually. And like, that movie just cost Disney $100 million, egg on Kathy's face, big fucking embarrassment for everybody. Indiana Jones was horrible. But I think you'll still get Indiana Jones in the future. It just might be like 15 years. You know? Maybe they'll do it like, what's the movie? Like Blade Runner or like Top Gun Maverick, where we go like 20 plus years and then we get a sequel or something else, right? IP is valuable. Nostalgia is valuable. Name recognition is valuable. So in a sense, yes, it'll always have life. But what we're really talking about is like, will we ever get back to 2014, 2015, 2016 with Star Wars? And that I am not so sure about. But I understand your point. Hunting Dude says Dave has proven himself in the past. That's why we trust him. We gotta let him cook. I like Ahsoka so far. Nerdvengers for life. Appreciate you, brother. And I feel the same way. I mean, I've gone through some real filler episodes of Rebels. And back in the day, like, you either had to have Disney XD or you bought that shit off Google. So there would be times where I'd be literally buying that thing off of the Google store for like $3 or $4 an episode. I'd sit down and watch like fucking droids walking around. And it was like, you all seen those memes of like Drake looking at the phone? That's what it was like. So I've had that experience before with Dave. Real talk, bro. There would be some weeks where I'd be like, ugh. Okay, that's the Rebels week. Will says, Andor was good. It gave you Star Wars from a different perspective. Yes, slow at times. It was great to see the inner workings / politics of the Empire. No, it wasn't. Thanks anyway. Lloyd says, it's the closest live-action Star Wars show we've had. Although Luke's appearance in Mando was so sick, bro. Yes. Yes. Yes, Lloyd. Philip says, do you think Dave is nervous for the show? Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. You know what I also think? I think Dave is upset at Disney. Yeah. Here's why I think this. The episode of Ahsoka in Mando is way better and way more tight than either of these first two episodes. And I know for a fact that they went and reshot stuff in like January of that year when that Mando season came out, specifically just for Dave to make it as good as it possibly was. And I bet Dave wanted to do that again and wanted more, and Kathy literally probably said no. So I bet Dave's a little butthurt, to be honest. But it's still good. It's not bad. It's just like it's not as good as it should be. Right? Jose, welcome back to the Prime level. Space Trick says, hyped for Unity. We need a new SHIP. And I'm backing it. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And no, superhero IP, dude, for sure. Unity has the ability to... I mean, bro, it's just so cool. Like, okay. So, imagine, like, the Justice League, but they're all kind of like the judges in Judge Dredd. They all wear the same uniform. There's this authoritarian sort of atmosphere over everything. Like, that's what Unity is. Unity is a story of the world trying to bring itself back from the brink and doing all kinds of fucked up shit. And it's all run by this organization. That's this authoritarian organization where all the superheroes are. All the powerful people work in the Unity core. You know what I mean? There is no limit to the stories we can tell. We can go into the future, we can go into the past, we can go sideways, all sorts of stuff. Now, it's different than VOT because VOT is, and this, I love this comparison too because I like The Boys, right? But VOT is trying to show you what superheroes and the Seven and what that looks like through the lens of commercialism and capitalism. Unity is showing you that through the lens of, 80 to 90% of the actual world's population is gone. There's like only about 5 cities left on the planet. The cities in the science fiction world that we built is literally built inside the rubble of the old world. And so it's showing you the lens of that authority. Because here's one of the twists. As bad as the core is, it is the right answer. Which is not the same. That's not what's going on in The Boys. You know what I mean? Like, it is clearly not the right answer. It is clearly wrong. It is, Anyway, I probably said too much. Lucas Tex Venter says, I remember Top 5 Tuesdays. Yeah, I remember that too until we kept getting copy struck on those, man. Yeah. Sounds more like Warhammer. Oh, there's definitely some Warhammer vibes in there for sure. Cole Maynard says, good morning, good sir. What do you think about having Maul flashbacks and his death in live action for Kenobi Season 2? Unity! Dude, let's find that clip. Let's double check. Where's the stock price of Disney right now? Not good. What? Why is it so hard to find? Cold-blooded. Are we gonna get copy struck for this?
He had this ring on to commemorate this song he had put out called Unity.
And this was imprinted in that black head of his for at least a week.
Unity. Oh man, that's great. Cool. I'm gonna get that on the. I'm gonna get that on a soundboard. That's good shit. Unity. Cool. Okay. Getting back into the Q&A. The Maul flashbacks in Kenobi Season 2. I don't want a Kenobi Season 2, brother. Like, full stop. I don't want it. But I guess if we had it, it'd be cool. D. Murdoch says, I'm the only one that wants to watch Echo. Kingpin with one eye, more Daredevil. Echo could be cool if it follows that popular Echo comic storyline. Oh, man. There is not a single cell in my body that has any level of hype for Echo in any way, shape, or form. You can't there's no keys to dangle. There's nothing. Kingpin's in the show. Yeah, we already seen it. And we're going to see him in Daredevil. Daredevil's in the show. Yeah, he was in She-Hulk. And he's getting his own show. Maya doing dope shit with fire tattoo. I don't give a shit! I don't give a shit! There's literally nothing I care about. And full stop, too. Here's the other thing. I don't just want to not watch it. I want to shout from the rooftops that I'm not watching it. I want to show up to Kevin Feige's house, knock on the door, and say, hello, Kevin Feige. Big fan. By the way, fuck Echo. Never watching that shit. Stop making shows like that. Okay? So I wanna fucking rent a plane and put a message on the back of it. Stop making shit like Echo, and I want to fly it around Hollywood. But I'm glad you're excited for it. Jamro says, why bring in the Fantastic Four now, then reset after Secret Wars? Also, would be cool to get Beta Ray Bill as a variant of Thor. Yeah, no, look, I agree. And that's the other side of it that doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. It's like, what are we even doing with introducing the Fantastic Four at all if you're just going to reboot it? So, yeah, there's a lot of weirdness going on, but it's like, it's kind of like Death by a Thousand Cuts, but they need to, like, radically shake this up and figure it out. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that is a serious question, and I don't know what the answer is. Joe Albany says, I just watched all the DC animated movies from 2013 to 2020. Holy smokes. I can't believe I slept on those movies. Incredible. Good luck on the Unity Kickstarter. Yeah, thanks, man. Those movies are great. And Bruce Timm is a big part of that. He was like the Kevin Feige of the animated stuff over at DC. Good shit. Good shit for sure. I need more contrast. You don't say that. D. Murdoch says with a $10 holla, really appreciate the love. Blue Beetle is a dope-ass movie, in my opinion, for real. But it was bound to flop. It's not a popular IP character, and it was supposed to be a straight-to-streaming movie. See you at New York Comic Con. Here's $10, Josh. Take my money. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm sorry I just got so mad at your Echo comment. I hope you're not really upset at me about that. But I just got to tell you how I feel, bro. Like, that is... I don't just not care. I care to the opposite extent. I'm actually fired up. Because I love Marvel, and I don't want this shit to be hurting them. It just cancel it. Like, and that might seem toxic or whatever, but it's coming from a place of love, bro. I want Marvel to win. And this ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of that shit. It's stupid. But I'll see you at New York Comic Con. Maybe if you're not too upset. Chilling in the Basement says, so here's the problem with all these big corporations. Forget the executives. Accountants run these companies, and they don't care about people at all. Nerd Avengers for life. Take my money. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of problems with corporatism, capitalism. All these things have flaws. Absolutely. But the copacetic situation here, right? Like the perfect scenario, you know, like here's what I'll say to that. If that's just flatly true, then what happened with the Infinity Saga? That's commercial art. Most of it happened under Disney's watch. So if it's just flatly true that accountants run this shit and fucking ruin it, then what happened in the Infinity Saga? And the thing is, the one beautiful thing that Marvel currently being shitty has given us is that we all agree that we had it really good before. Like, I'm watching like people like The Drinker talk about how Marvel was genius until Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing everybody acknowledge and recognize just how good it was in the face of what it is now. That's actually like kind of cool. There's like a saving grace there, you know? But it's not like, and this is why it's difficult. It's like, you got to try to pinpoint what exactly happened. It's not accountants. Like, accountants were there before. You know what I mean? Jared N says, would like to see Fantastic Four, Doom, and X-Men before the reboot. I want to see Feige's vision for them. Silver Surfer 2. Ahsoka, good, not great so far. Denna Goats. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the love. Chillin says, read an article the other day. It said it won't matter how much stuff they sell off. The Biden administration will block the sale. Nerd Avengers for life, take my money. I mean, I don't know what article you read. And I also don't know, I mean, without getting political, do we really think the Biden administration is going to be in control for much longer? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's too crazy. Like, maybe I just stepped in it. Maybe everybody's going to get real fucking upset. Maybe people are real butthurt. But, do we really think that's going to be a concern? Like, we're all adults here, right? I don't know about that, man. Scotty15, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Callisto says, I have all the Diamond streams in a playlist, but I'm only missing one, I think. If any Diamond members would want the list, they can ping me in the Discord Diamond Lounge and I'll share it. God damn it, Callisto! What if I don't want that? Don't show them the dirty laundry. Don't show them. Daniel Ha upgraded his membership. Appreciate that. And then Vandal says, hey from down under, Josh and Nerd Vengers. Enjoying Ahsoka. Sabine Hart. Great content this week. Can't wait for the comic. P.S. What's the Warhammer channel? The Warhammer channel is called Warhammer Explained, and we will have a new video on Monday. Yeah. So we'll have a new a Custodes video on Monday, and I'm sorry that it's taken so long. We're going to try to do better next time. Try to get these videos out faster. Chillin says they weren't wasting money on Disney Plus. The movies were making bank. Happy accountants back then. Sales block article was in a financial mag. Yeah, no, I get you. But what I'm saying is it's not causal. Not in the way you're thinking. So it's like, here's what I think it is. When winning solves everything. When you're winning, not just the accountants, everybody's happy. When you're losing, everybody's not happy. And then it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Because sure, yeah, finances are a part of it. But bro, they just spent like $211 million on Secret Invasion. So I just don't think that the accountants are... You know what I mean, bro? Like, I don't... Like, you think the accountants signed off on that shit? Like, come on, man. $211 to watch Nick Fury make out with a lizard? The fuck out of here. And that's a confluence of many different problems. You know what I mean? Whew. You ever want to pay $200+ million to watch Nick Fury make out with a lizard? Fanchecker's like, I'd pay more. Jesus Christ. Ah, what a world. What a world. You know, in some ways, all we can do is just try to have fun with this shit, guys. You know? Like, I want it to get better. I see the vision. And obviously, like, I'd rather be rooting for stuff. But, like, all we can do is try to have fun with this, man. Because this is what we're getting. This is the world we're living in. We don't have to use our imagination to know what it would be like if Marvel spent $200 million to make Nick Fury make out with a fucking... Oh my God. Oh my God. And then, right, so like, but we want to see the numbers. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. That's like the people at pulling up to the Evergrande shit in China, excited to meet their neighbors. I don't think you do. You know? There goes the neighborhood. What do you mean? Oh, no, they're literally demolishing the neighborhood. Jesus. That's an economics joke. You guys might not get that one. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Yo, Scientific Lens. I actually watched that interview with Mark Miller, and I get a lot of what he's saying. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. There's some of the stuff that he's just getting wrong. There's also some contradictions. I really like Mark Miller. I would love to ask him some of that, because when I saw that interview, I was like, man, that's so weird. So, like, in one breath, he's saying, even though nobody's going to like it, we need all the legends to come back and do 2 years of good runs at Marvel and DC. And then he's also, like, praising anti-establishment, like, saying that it's better to not do it. It's like, well, which one is it, right? But look, Mark's obviously a brilliant writer and a great ambassador for comics. And I think he has insight that most of us don't when it comes to comics. But, you know, saying that, you know, having Bendis Consulting was the thing that made early Marvel great is just not true. If you look at the timing of that, there was a dip in quality, and Marvel had a dip in Phase 2. And they actually, some of these people that he hired outside of comics created the best parts of the MCU into, like, the third and the fourth phase. Well, I guess just the third, but yeah. I don't think it's that simple. You know? But, you know what I do know? 100%. Without a doubt. With every fiber of my being. I know that Rebel Moon's going to beat that shit. It's going to slap. Boy! And y'all better just get with the program. Okay. Okay. Good. We got that out of the way. Okay. All right, everybody. Much love to you all. I really appreciate it. Go check out the Unity comic. I've got the link to the Kickstarter pinned to my Twitter. Like I said, we're going to do a little something extra for everybody that has already backed the book and then everybody that will back the book next week. Yeah, so a lot of fun stuff to continue to talk about. A big video today coming out in the afternoon, probably in a couple hours here, about Sam Witwer and Star Killer coming into Ahsoka. So check that video out, and then we'll be back at it next week, okay? Appreciate y'all. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. hang on just a goddamn second here. Adam from Fanjecture says, I want a Disney Plus show of Nick Fury and Lando going around the galaxy banging aliens and droids. Thought I got out clean. I thought I wasn't going to put my mental health at risk. But I'm going to need the jaws of life to get that image out of my fucking head. Holy shit. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? No, seriously, are we still good? Because I got a message that said the stream shut off and shit. Okay, we're still here. Cool. All right, awesome, dope. Love y'all. I just wanted to get this in real quick. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with my, I don't know, how would you describe me? Ornery, bombastic, flagrant, smelly. Either way, thanks for putting up with my ass. Open up your third eye and wash out your butt. I'll see you later.